It's time for Lefties Losing It, and we've got some weapon-grade Trump derangement syndrome antics coming up for you. But let's start in the UK, where saying just about anything against the leftist orthodoxy will see the police at your door. It may get you charged. They're jailing people for spicy, inflammatory tweets. Lucy Connolly is serving 31 months for a couple of anti-immigration posts. That's longer than some grooming gang members have received as far as prison terms. Talk about a two-tier justice system, which all brings me to Glastonbury and the orgy of hate and hysteria celebrated by a massive crowd of lefty simpletons. Here is some rapper and anti-British, anti-West Islamist supporting miscreant, part of a duo called Bob Villain. And watch as this rapper mocks Brits who want their country back.
Heard you want your country back. Shut the up. Heard you want your country back. You can't have that. The only place I know, stolen right under my nose, my ignorant scum, trying to lay claim to a land that ain't theirs.
And watch the crowd, a sea of pasty white, self-loading Brits cheering against their own country.
Heard you want your country back. You can't have that. Heard you want your country back. Shut the up.
And that same idiot crowd were happy to join in with genocidal chants about killing Israelis and ending the only Jewish state.
Free, free. Free, free. Hey, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF. 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 Hell yeah, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be, will be, inshallah.
And here are more privileged, almost uniformly white lefty misfits who have paid a lot of money to be a part of whatever this is. And if that wasn't bad enough, the crowd were treated to far-left loon and former Labor Party leader Jeremy Corbyn banging on about Donald Trump and building bridges, not walls. But isn't there a massive wall, a massive fence around the music festival to ensure only those with a valid ticket are allowed to enter to hear crap like this?
If you can see that far, look on the wall right over there that surrounds this wonderful festival. And there's a message on that wall for President Donald Trump. And you know what it says? Build bridges, not walls.
But they built a wall around the festival. They didn't build a bridge to allow anybody who wants to come. They built a fence to keep people out. Now, here is ageing DJ Slim Shady serving up dangerous levels of cringe. The bald little eunuch had a big screen featuring Donald Trump, and he and his sad little audience were giving the president the finger. I don't know if the Trump administration can recover from this. Now, here is a socialist proving yet again that the left is all about projection and really they operate without shame. Here is Bernie Sanders accusing the Republicans of being extremist and Stalinist.
The Republican Party has not just become a right-wing extremist party. In many cases, it's become like a Stalinist party, a cult of the individual.
I got to tell you, the chutzpah is off the charts with that dude. But here is Bernie Sanders getting an education. He went on the Joe Rogan show. Now, remember, Joe Rogan used to love Bernie, used to back him. But now I think he's seeing him clearly for the leftist clown that he is.
Was the poll incorrect?
Yeah, the poll was wrong. So what?
What about the conversation that they had with Kamala Harris, where they edited the answers that she had?
60 Minutes has a sterling reputation for investigative journalism.
That's not investigative journalism if you change someone's answers. If you ask her a question and she comes with a rambling answer that doesn't make sense and you edit that out.
Suing media has the impact of intimidating media.
No, but it's not that. It's deceptive editing.
I don't know.
You give people a different perception of who this candidate is than reality. But that's not objective journalism. Would you agree with that?
I don't know that I agree with your analysis of it.
I think that's universally accepted that that's what they did.
The impact is clearly intimidation. He wants to defund public broadcasting. Why is that? Because they also would run critical stories of him.
They say things that are defamatory and factually incorrect. What other course does a person have other than a lawsuit?
And Joe Rogan also schooled Bernie, the socialist with 3 houses, the climate change warrior who takes private jets around the country. Joe schooled him on global warming.
You got to deal with this climate change issue. And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax. I think the last 10 years have been the warmest on record.
First of all, the reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We could both agree on that. It's always been up and down. There's been ice ages and heat waves. And then the Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period. That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. Scientists have captured the Earth's climate change over the last 485 million years. Here's a surprising place we stand now. So look at the far end of that graph, and you see we're in a cooling period.
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't read that article, but the scientists who are out there, I think.
I know, but there's a lot of money involved in that too, Bernie. That's part of the problem. There's a lot of money involved in this whole climate change emergency issue, and there's a lot of control, and that's a big part of this problem.
Now, here is thoroughly confused doom goblin Greta Thunberg, this time in Budapest, in a keffiyeh, marching for pride and misusing the word fascist.
Today I am joining thousands of people in Budapest in Hungary who are defying Viktor Orbán's desperate attempt to ban the Pride March. Pride is both a protest but also a celebration of love and who we are. This is yet another fascist attack on human rights, but you cannot ban love.
Yeah, why don't you try that in a Muslim country, Greta? How about you try it, I don't know, in Gaza or even the West Bank? You're not going to get far. Now let's have a look at socialist Zoran Mamdani, the likely next mayor of New York City. Here he is with actress Cynthia Nixon doing whatever this is.
Click. Click or click? Click.
Joining me now is the host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV, comedian Alex Stein. Alex, the left are very excited about this character. Is he going to be the next mayor of New York City? And are Texans prepared for the influx of New Yorkers who are going to be moving to your state if he ends up winning?
Well, I actually am of the opinion I'm ready for more New Yorkers to come to Texas. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, don't come here, but we got a lot of room. We got a lot of businesses booming. So I love, migrants, New Yorkers to come to Texas. But when it comes to Zoran Mamdani, I mean, he's from Uganda. He was recently just in a pride parade. I'd like him to go back to Uganda and try to do a pride parade. So this guy is all screwed up. He's going to turn New York into probably a dystopian hellhole with his free grocery store ideas. And this is the problem. It's like, yes, everybody wants our goods and our services to be cheaper in New York City, but he needs to worry about the safety issues. I mean, people are getting set on fire on the subway in New York City, and nobody ever got in trouble or arrested for that. So he has a serious crime issue he needs to focus on, and not just giving homeless and illegal immigrants free food.
Now, Alex, let's have a look at an incredible poll showing how little Democrats value being American compared to Republicans, how little pride they have in their country. It's a Gallup poll, and it's the percentage who say they are very or extremely proud to be American. Now, back in 2001, the numbers were pretty equal. 87% of Democrats, 90% of Republicans said they were very or extremely happy, proud to be American. But you look at the current data, 2025, only 36% of Democrats agree with that statement, whilst with Republicans, they have become even more proud of their country, with 92% saying they are very or extremely proud to be American. Alex, I know it's just one poll, but those numbers are incredible.
No, and Rita, I believe those polls are exactly accurate, because if you look in the past 24 years, what has changed? Critical race theory has taught every single young child that being an American is a bad thing, is that you're inherently racist for just being white. So this is a serious thing. This is not an accident that they have basically brainwashed people into hating our country. And this is what's sad, is that if you actually have an American flag in your front yard, you are considered a domestic terrorist to the majority of Democrats on the left. So it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't think that the American flag would be considered a hate symbol to about half the people in our country, but that's where we're at, Rita, because we've been indoctrinated to hate. You know, and I love Australia, but I think America's the greatest country on earth. It's really sad that our young children are being indoctrinated in this way.
Well, you're so right about the American flag. There's so many neighbourhoods where you see the American flag flying proudly outside homes, and you can always almost with certainty guess how those homes vote. The very, very rarely are you going to be wrong this day and age when you see an American flag flying outside someone's home. Now, let's move to different matters. You may remember British car company Jaguar relaunching their brand with some woke wankery. Have a look at this. Yes, I have fond memories of mocking that ad, and that whole campaign coincided with Jaguar's EV obsessions. And here is the result. Jaguar's April 2025 European sales plunged 97.5% from 1,961 units to just 49 vehicles, marking a near total collapse during its rebranding phase. Alex, it really is a lesson in how to destroy a brand in 30 seconds.
I know, especially Jaguar. When, I think of Jaguar, I think of James Bond, I think of beautiful women, I think of, action, and not a bunch of odd, non-binary, weird people doing some sort of, ritualistic dance around a car's death, basically. So what is a cliche that we always say? Go woke, get broke. I think this is just another classic example of a car company not appealing to its customers, but trying to be some sort of, progressive social justice hero. And what did it do? It cost them all their sales. I mean, 49 cars sold in Europe. That's absolutely abysmal. They should be ashamed of themselves. And really, they need to do some soul searching at Jaguar.
Alex, before you go, I know you Americans are obsessed with our wildlife. I thought you'd be interested in this next story. Have a look at how heroic surfers come to the rescue of a shark attack victim.
I had a really bad feeling about that, and someone mentioned it.
Oh my God. He doesn't getting carried off.
Oh
my God, that's the shark. That's the shark.
No, it's not.
This should be what it is.
It would be following the blood.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's...
Oh my God.
Oh my God, wait, that's actually really scary. Oh my God. Wait. Let me see.
Alex, they are beautiful creatures and we have to share the ocean with them. Does footage like that make you excited about visiting Australia?
Honestly, it's than some of those spiders I see on TikTok, so I'll take it. And you know, I see the heroicism and all the heroes in Australia saving that 16-year-old. I would not be scared whatsoever, even if I got bit by a shark. I know there'd be some great Aussies out there, Aussies to save me right there, like that 16-year-old boy. So I'm not nervous at all, Rita, and I will be there soon, and I will be there at Sky News in person sooner than later, Rita. I promise you that.
We can't wait, and we might even bring in some critters, bring in some big spiders and snakes to welcome you to the country. Alex Stein, always a pleasure. Thanks for your time tonight.